What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Hide and Seek. I'm going to make this review as short as I possibly can and just give you my overall thoughts. I overall thought that Hide and Seek is a very entertaining movie. It's got a good blend of horror and it's got a good blend of comedy. It's got a really good cast and actually got a really fun and interesting story. The story is basically this: this woman marries into a wealthy family, and she discovers that they have a really strange ritual where they have to pretty much play a game of hide and seek. And pretty much, if she's found, they gotta kill her before sunup, or else they face the wrath of a pact that was made eons ago. So, yeah, the plot of this movie is completely absurd, and it's completely absurd. And to the movie's credit, it's self-referential in the fact that the plot is really absurd, to the point where you got characters questioning if this thing is actually real and if they're going to really face some supernatural comeuppance at the end, which they eventually do, which I actually think is kind of dull, kind of dumb, to be honest with you. And I think this movie should have kept itself more grounded instead of going all supernatural at the end, which I thought was kind of stupid. But that's just me personally. But other than that, I overall thought this movie was really enjoyable. I like the cast. This movie has a really good cast. Samara Weaving as the character of Grace, she was fine in the role. I thought she did a really good job. She's backed by a cast that includes actors like Adam Brody, Mark O'Brien, and Henry and Addie McDowell, who all played their roles really well. My favorite character in this movie has got to be the father of this entire family, played by Henry Crenzini. If I said his name wrong, I'm sorry. I thought he was actually really hilarious. Whenever things didn't go the way it was supposed to go, he would just act just like a complete raving lunatic, swearing like a sailor. I thought he was actually really funny. Uh, and other members of the family are funny as well. There's a character called Fitch who was pretty much like a pussy in this movie, and I thought his character was pretty entertaining as well. The brothers, played by Mark O'Brien and Adam Brody, respectively, Alex and Daniel. I thought they were fine in the roles too. I liked them. I thought they were fine. I think this movie, from a visual standpoint, is a really good-looking movie. It's got a really good visual. It's got really good visuals. The directing team behind this did a real good job at creating a very tense yet very fun and stylish atmospheres in a way. The writing, for the most part, is not too bad. This movie has got a lot of good darkly humor, which I'm a big fan of. So I'm all okay with that. There are some instances where this movie kind of has trouble balancing its humor and balancing its horror in a way where it comes across as kind of like, this movie's trying to be Scream, but it's trying a little too hard to be like Scream in a way. Scream was perfect at balancing humor and horror because the humor never undercutted the horror. This movie, there are moments to me where the humor was undercutting the horror and the horror was undercutting the humor, and it was kind of like a weird balancing act in a way. I think I understand what the team was trying to go for. I think in certain areas they land it, in other areas they kind of don't land it. But in Landers, but this movie does have good moments of kind of some good visceral gore and good visceral horror. Particularly this one scene where the character of Grace falls into like this goat pit, and she's trying to escape, but all the while, moments before that, she gets shot right in the hand, and you can see the bullet hole in her hand. And as she's climbing up the ladder, it breaks, and she has to put her hand with the hole through a nail just to keep her grip. It's a really gruesome moment, really gruesome scene, but I like it a lot. I mean, it's it's good. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm a big horror fan, so obviously I was going to enjoy something like that. Uh, yeah, pretty much. Like I said, I wanted to keep this review as short as I possibly can make it be. This movie is tightly paced. It's paced really well. It's never boring. It's very entertaining. Like I said, it's got a lot of good humorous moments. It's got a lot of good horror moments. There are moments where the humor and the horror are blended really well, and there are moments where they're not blended so well. And I don't like the whole supernatural ending at the end. I thought that was kind of tacky and kind of lame. But I do like the humor all throughout the movie, and it's got a really good, strong cast that makes this movie really enjoyable, really watchable, and a team that, for the most part, they hit all the right boxes and they crafted together a nice little horror comedy. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Ready or Not. I'm gonna give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's good. It's really good. This is not a movie that you're gonna watch and kind of remember it later, but it's a good time filler type of movie. It's gonna keep you entertained, and if you're a horror fan, it's a good watch. It's a good watch. Maybe I think you know what, I think a 7 out of 10 is a little too harsh. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 because I did like it when I was watching it, and yeah, that's all I got to say. 8 out of 10 for Ready or Not. Well, if you've seen this movie, let me know your thoughts in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.